Hello Internet. In this video we're covering the Protection Warrior, rotations for both hero talent trees, including how the tier set impacts each build. And at the end we'll take a look at the step priorities and a few key essentials to get you started for Season 2. So whether you're picking up the Prot Warrior for the first time or looking to optimize your play, I got you covered. My name is Brink and let's dive straight in. Okay, let's get the new stuff out of the way first. Our tier sets Season 2. Our new tier set reads as followed. Free Revenge deals 15% more damage and makes your next Shield Slam deal 20% more damage. So straight out of the box, Free Revenge becomes more valuable and it also increases the value of Shield Slam immediately after it. And the 4 set is Ravager and Free Revenge apply a bleed to all targets for 12 seconds and Ravager's cooldown is reduced by 30 seconds. So they definitely want you to play with Ravager, it seems. Now if you ask me, this tier set doesn't completely change Protection's Warrior's rotation, but it does change what you prioritize inside the rotation, where pressing your Free Revenge has become that bit more important. Understanding the rotation. Instead of me explaining a fixed order of buttons to press, I feel it's way more useful to understand the meaning of your rotation and what it is you're trying to accomplish. You have one resource, Rage, and just one Rage bar to keep an eye on. You have abilities that generate Rage and abilities that cost Rage. You generate with Charge, Shield Slam, Thunderclap and Demo Shout. And you spend Rage on Revenge, Ignore Pain and Shield Block. Like I said earlier, you want to Shield Slam as often as possible and most definitely after you have used your 45-second cooldown Demolish to lower its cooldown. So there are a few layers happening when looking at the abilities in your rotation. The first layer is all about Rage and how it flows. The goal is building Rage, spending it smart and don't overcap, and turning that Rage into damage and survivability at the same time. Okay, let's take a closer look at these abilities and see what it is they are exactly doing, so you get a deeper understanding. We will start with our Rage spender, Revenge. Revenge does an arc of damage. It costs 20 Rage and when you dodge or parry, it has a chance to become free. This happens pretty often. As you can see from this talent, Best Served Cold, now it happens even more often. And when it does become free, it also does more damage and it buffs your Thunderclap damage by 8%. This is saying it's nice to press Revenge before Thunderclap and makes it basically your first button to press after you charge in. Charge will give you 20 Rage, just enough to press Revenge. Because of Strategist, your Revenge can make your Shield Slam cooldown reset. This is kinda saying it's good to press Revenge when you have used your Shield Slam to lower its cooldown. What else does Revenge do? It provides a stack of Colossus Might, and these stacks also buff the damage of Revenge with the next talent, Tide of Battle. And then you have 2 more talents that increase the damage. Thunderclap is next. It does AoE damage, it slows the enemy's hit and applies Rend to all targets. Remember that Rend also feeds into the bleed dot that heals you over time. Crackling Thunder makes the radius bigger and reduces the speed of your enemies more. Thunderclap can also reset the cooldown of Shield Slam. And Thunderlord makes it so the more enemies you hit, the more it reduces the cooldown on Demoralizing Shout. Remember, Demo Shout is a good rage generator. Be sure to press it when you are rage starved. And of course, its main function is to reduce the damage you take by 20%. And last but not least, the Apex. The Apex also makes Thunderclap the enabler for your next Shield Slam to do more damage. So it's telling you, press Thunderclap before you Shield Slam. It will do more damage and all enemies hit by the rubble in front of you will do 5% less damage to you. Yes, this is caused by Shield Slam, but only if you press Thunderclap first. And I have tested this. You can cast other spells in between, if need be, as it will remember the Thunderclap. Now for your bread and butter, Shield Slam. This ability does so much we could spend an hour on it. I'll try to keep it short and precise. Shield Slam slams the target with your shield, causing physical damage, generates 18 Rage. You will notice right away it's 2 Rage short, to be followed up by a Revenge. But this isn't all, let's check the talent tree. It will light up like Christmas when you type in Shield Slam. Many of these are other abilities that reset the cooldown of Shield Slam, but other things to be aware of are Brace of Impact. Using Shield Slam increases the damage of Shield Slam by 10% and the block value by 5%. Both can stack up 3 times, putting your block value to 15%. And why is this important? Don't get me wrong, the more damage is nice, but the block value will help you block more, so take less damage and therefore making your Revenge more often free to use. Punish. Shield Slam does more damage and reduces damage against you by 3% for 9 seconds, and it can overlap, so effectively works as a shield, shielding you from incoming damage. Next talent, you can go for Impenetrable Wall. This will make Shield Slam lower the cooldown of Shield Wall by 6%, but I think Defender's Aegis is better. 2 charges on a 1.8 minute cooldown is plenty. Just like Heavy Repercussion and Violent Outburst, people way smarter than me will figure out what ones are the best to choose. The most magic for Shield Slam happens in the hero talents. Cut to the bone. When Shield Slam crits, it increases your bleeds, rend and deep wounds damage by another 25%. So it's making that self-healing stronger. Defensive, really nice. Shield Slam also feeds into Demolish by providing a stack of Colossus Might. And the next talent makes it give another stack when Shield Slam crits. And by doing so, all these stacks add up, and it reduces the cooldown of Demolish. Now a quick transition to the Apex node. I know some people are considering not taking it, this last node. But I'm hoping tuning will incentivize you to take it. Because when you use Shield Block before Shield Slam, your crit chance of Shield Slam is increased by 20%. And with the talent Crushing Force, adding another flat 5% crit increase, giving it a whopping 25% increased crit chance. So why should you get excited if your Shield Slam crits? Every time Shield Slam crits, you gain multiple stacks, lowering your cooldown on Demolish, and making your self-healing dot bigger. So as you can tell, it's a really nice feedback loop. So in short, Revenge buffing your Thunderclaps inflicting rend to all targets, and Shield Slam increases the damage of your bleeds, increasing your self-healing, and lowering the cooldown on Demolish. And you can make sure all this happens even harder by making it crit, just by timing a shield block at the right moment. And at the same time also helping you keep shield block up as much as possible. It's brilliant in its simplicity, if you ask me. So what does it look like? Make sure you have Battle Shout up. We charge in, gain 20 rage, spend it on Revenge, get some good threat on the pack and Thunderclap to seal the deal. Now press your Shield Slam and send some rubble to your enemies. That's your pull right there. I would now press Demolish, and while it's casting, press Shield Block for some more defense. You want to keep up Shield Block as much as possible. Feel free to weave in your Demo Shout and Avatar on big packs. Shield Wall has 2 charges, so be sure to use it often. Now we start doing our normal rotation. And kinda let the global cooldowns decide what we're pressing, as you don't want to wait for an ability to come off cooldown. You're always pressing something. Keep in mind, we want to press Shield Slam the most. And make sure to keep up your shield block. Try to keep it up 100% of the time. As simple as it sounds, it will feel like you're making small mistakes at times. Don't worry about it too much. Your rotation isn't about memorizing a strict sequence. It's knowing why you're pressing certain abilities and pressing them with intent. It's about balancing rage generation and spending, staying tanky and pressing the right abilities at the right moments to keep the flow going and maximize both damage and mitigation. Once you understand the balance and the rhythm, everything else in your Colossus build, the mini games, the talent synergies, the cooldowns, just clicks. In short, generate rage and don't waste rage by overcapping. So spend rage. Spend it to keep yourself alive and spend it on Revenge without feeling guilty, because Revenge helps indirectly to reduce cooldowns as you are fishing for those desired Shield Slam procs. Understanding the rotation. Instead of me explaining a fixed order of buttons to press, I feel it's way more useful to understand the meaning of your rotation and what it is you're trying to accomplish. You have one resource, Rage, and just one Rage bar to keep an eye on. You have abilities that generate Rage and abilities that cost Rage. You generate with Charge, Shield Slam, Thunderclap and Demo Shout. You spend Rage on Revenge, Ignore Pain and Shield Block. Ideally, you'd be in Avatar 100% of the time, but that's not possible. The goal is to get Avatar back as quickly as possible and spend as much rage as you can on Thunder Strikes, so you can tap in the 10% Avatar proc bonus. The dream? Hitting Avatar at the same time as Whirling Blade procs for maximum burst. But since we can't control that timing perfectly, the real target is simple. Use Shield Slam and Thunderclap as often as possible. That's the core of Mountain Thane's rotation. Revenge. Revenge does an arc of damage. It costs 20 rage, and see it as your filler if rage isn't needed on other abilities. Thunderclap is next. This spell is your bread and butter in this build. It's instant, blasts all enemies within 12 yards and reduces their speed by 40%, deals reduced damage beyond 5 targets, generates 5 rage. Additional, you have plenty of modifiers that make it do more damage. Avatar. Avatar is cast on cooldown, roughly every 50 seconds. More cooldowns means more rage, means more cooldowns. Starting from the opener. So what does it look like? Make sure you have Battle Shout up. If you have Ravager talented, not as a passive, then use it on the pack you're going for. Now generally, you'll want to taunt your main target as you cast Charge. Cast Avatar as you charge in, followed up with a Shield Slam. Now use a Thunder Blast. Now this is already your opener. Let me freeze it here for a second. A good habit to have is when starting on a pack, getting threat first with Thunderclap and using the rage you just generated by charging in and Shield Slam on the defensive, like Shield Block. So weave that in, or use a Shield Charge that also provides a Shield Block. With that out of the way, by now more adds have gathered to your location. So start pressing your core rotation. Shield Slam and Thunder Blast. Weave in Revenge if it procs. And try to get as many Thunderclaps rolling as you can. Remember to press Ignore Pain if you have more than 75 rage. Use Demo Shout to generate some rage when it's low. And yes, I know it's a defensive cooldown, but on a 45-second cooldown, use it often. And make sure when you do use it, it doesn't overcap your rage. It's really easy to overcap, so spend your rage on Ignore Pains and Shield Blocks. And start feeling that rhythm of generating rage and spending it. Use your Thunderclaps to gain aggro on other adds when picking up multiple packs. As simple as it sounds, if you do feel like you're making small mistakes at times, don't worry about it too much. Just make sure you're always pressing something. The biggest mistake is not pressing something on cooldown. It's about balancing rage generation and spending, staying tanky and pressing the right abilities at the right moments to keep the flow going and maximize both damage and mitigation. Once you understand that rhythm, everything else in your Mountain Thane build will flow naturally. In short, generate rage, don't waste rage by overcapping. So spend rage, spend it on keeping yourself alive, and it's always good to cast a Thunderclap. Strength is our main stat. It gives us attack power, which makes our abilities hit harder. It also gives us some parry, and increases the amount of armor we get from Vanguard. Haste is easily our best secondary stat. It lowers the global cooldown, and it lets us use our abilities more often, which means more rage generation and more DPS. Most importantly, more haste also means more Ignore Pain and better shield block uptime. So it gives us both offensive and defensive value. In short, haste does pretty much everything we want. Versatility is the simple, reliable stat. It increases the damage we deal and reduces the damage we take. It also increases the damage of things like trinkets and special weapons. So there's really no downside of having it. It's just a solid all-around stat. Critical Strike is primarily an offensive stat for us. With the Mythic Plus, it can also have some defensive value, because we're constantly being hit by melee attacks. A Critical Strike can occasionally let us parry an incoming melee attack, which can even prevent certain dangerous attacks or debuffs from going through. That said, don't build around this happening. It's RNG, and as the saying goes, only a fool relies on chance. Mastery. Mastery increases both our block chance and our chance to critical block, which makes it a strong defensive stat against attacks that can be blocked. It also gives us attack power, which in turn makes our Ignore Pain stronger. The downside is that Mastery doesn't help much against damage that can't be blocked, such as many spells, dots and bleeds. So overall, Mastery is a good defensive stat, but its value depends heavily on what kind of damage you're taking. So for your stat priority, defensive or offensive, just go for strength, haste, crit, versatility, then mastery. But for the best results, be sure to sim yourself. I'll also place a list of your biz enchants and consumables on the screen right now, so you can feel free to pause it and copy whatever it is that you need. And there you have it, the Protection Warrior Season 2 guide. If you want a deeper dive into the talents or gameplay tips, be sure to check out some of my prior guides on this channel. If you do find this video helpful, why not help me out by hitting a like, and if you want to see more, don't forget to subscribe. And let me know in the comments below, what are you enjoying the most in Season 2? Or what guides would you like to see from me next? Thanks for watching, Brink's out.